I have spent the last few years traveling the world and writing about my favorite elixir, whiskey. This show is all about the brands, the spirits, and the distilleries you know and love. Join us as we share our stories and our words of whiskey. And welcome back to episode 3. We haven't gotten the boot yet, so this is exciting. This is Words of Whiskey. I am Josh here with a very special guest, Junior Wakefield. He is, as you can tell, strong man, trainer, chef in the catering business, a lot of things that you want. He also a whiskey, bourbon connoisseur, Scotch connoisseur, all things of the golden elixir. And he has brought us a bottle today. I think we have him on next week as well for a single malt Scotch that I'm excited to talk about. But today is Buffalo Trace, one of the oldest distilleries in the Kentucky area. I think I heard an old person tell me one time that the age you see on a bottle isn't the age they actually started. It was the age the tax man caught them and made them get incorporated. So, but you've heard rumors dating back to the late 1700s as far as finding that territory, establishing it, and using the natural filtration from the limestone to get great water into your bourbon. What do you like best about Buffalo Trace, Junior?
For one, when you're looking at a bourbon, or when you're looking or tasting at a bourbon, it also has to have, to me, it has to be distinguished from everything else.
Yeah.
For one, you talk about the history, of being the oldest distillery, and it's like, okay, that's amazing. And you're thinking that because it's old, they still use some of the same equipment and some of the same cask and barrels and so forth that they did years ago. And I always think that's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
One of the techniques I know that they use is they continue to keep adding, bourbons to a barrel from years, which is really kind of amazing. I like that. And plus the flavor. It's a distinct taste. It's great. All the products of Buffalo Trace has something distinguished about them. And with the price point of Buffalo Trace, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, that's the deal. Price point of Buffalo Trace is around high 20s, low 30s, mid 30s probably range. If you can find it.
If you can find it.
If you can find it.
That is true.
I don't remember ever having a hard time finding it, but I had it out in the lobby and 4 or 5 men walk by and go, "Hey, I'm surprised you're really able to find a bottle." So
yes.
It's very affordable. It could easily be an everyday sort of sipping.
Oh, most definitely.
Sipping bourbon. As you all know, bourbons, so they're 51% corn, rye, and then a malted barley mash bill. Bourbon has to sit longer than whiskey does. The barrel they sit for 8 years to reach full maturity. The cool part about bourbon that's going to tie into next week's episode is that it's the new oak cask, meaning it can't have ever had spirit in there before.
That is it. That's it.
And so, whereas most scotches they call it new oak bourbon barrel. What that means is used. They use our scraps is what the UK takes to make their scotch. So there's a little bit when you talk about bourbon, you're looking at the impact that it's had in the Scotch community and the whiskey community worldwide is just huge.
It's funny when you talk about the bourbons and so forth, and you think about the history that back to the days of Prohibition, where in the woods of Kentucky and all over, where they were making their own spirits and different things like that, and then for them to continue to make stuff to today, which is just absolutely amazing.
I love it. And that's a part of it. You'll see that they always say in the mountains, all you saw was little smokestacks coming up.
Yep, that's it.
Well, because beer and distilled spirit start off pretty much the same. So with bourbon particularly, I'm going to go ahead and pour. I love the sound. Did we capture the sound?
You see it.
Sound. They do like a finger.
Well, if it's your finger, if it's your finger or my finger,
your finger, I'd be in trouble. I'm gonna stick to my finger pores.
You better stick to yours. I'm looking at my finger and I'm like, you're kind of short a lot.
And then here's the producer.
The producer.
I'll give him a smidge. I'll say that off to the side for you as well.
Yeah, that what is it? And when they say the angel share, well, this is Andrew's share right there.
Yeah, Andrew's share.
Boy, look at that.
So again, you got really nice color to it. You smell the caramel right out of the gate.
You just
whenever
took the
pour
words
it.
right off the bat. Even before, when you were pouring it, you smelt it, which is really good. Oh man.
So yeah, but no, I was saying before, the important thing about bourbon is, in whiskeys and all the other ones, is that when you go through the process of making beer and whiskey, starts off pretty close to the same. You take your mash, which is your grains, your wheat, your barley, whatever it is you're going to make your spirit with. The difference is for beer, it goes into a ferment period. They take all of that stuff out. It goes into a ferment period, and then they bottle it. Whereas with whiskey, it goes into a distillation period where it goes up into those barrels and comes down as pure grain. They boil off all the other parts. They want that pure alcohol. And then that's what they're putting into mixing with water and then putting into barrels.
In the barrels. And then that's where we get the color from.
That's where all the color comes from.
Oh, so this, boy, I'm telling you, this is
There is a little bit of mouth burn to it.
It catches you right on the tip of the tongue, and then kind of goes down, and you feel that lingering finish as it travels.
Yeah, that's to me why. So I used to like love gin or vodka. But I really settle home with bourbon and whiskey and scotch, mostly because I like the experience. To me, it's just like I'll have a pipe every once in a while, unless of course you're my insurance adjuster, then I don't ever have one. But I'll have the pipe, and it's not about the tobacco. It's not about there's no buzz. But it's about the ritual.
The ritual. That's it.
That's it. Getting the hand out there, and that's kind of how I feel about bourbon. It's never about getting drunk. It's never about being intoxicated. The ritual of smelling it and tasting it and trying to get some of those notes. So I'm definitely getting the vanilla, getting the caramel.
Yep.
There was one note that I saw that we'll see up on the screen that I have never gotten before.
We're talking about both of us one we saw.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing with this is, it's an everyday drink. You can drink it, but I'm also looking at that time. It was kind of like this morning, where it was a little chill in the air. You can sit out. You just get a good pour here. And you just sit back, relax, and think about it, and just enjoy it. Man, and it still has a good finish. It still has that little tingling on the tongue.
Yep.
And
the good thing is after like a couple glasses, the mouth burn goes away. That mouth numbness kicks in. You're like touching your lips. But no, I agree. To me, the higher proof, and this isn't that high, is it? This is 45, so you're still in pretty good, pretty good safe range territory. But anything that's high proof, like cast strength, those all for me, it has to be cold outside.
Oh, most definitely. Well,
it's 107 degrees. I'm not pulling cast strength anything into a glass.
I don't know if you drink old fashions, but Buffalo Trace Old Fashioned to me is really good, and you're adding a drop of water, which is going to open it up even more so. Now, I don't know if you like ice cubes. I always, if you get a big old ice cube or a big rock and put in there and just let it, let
it sit for a second. So
let it sit for a second.
That was one of the things that I always thought, whenever I was doing my whiskey stuff, I always thought it had to be neat. It has to be, the way that it was intended to be done. But, the biggest whiskey snobs in the world will say, "Hey, drink whatever you like. Drink it the way you want to drink it.
Drink it the way you want to drink it.
If you want to put water in there, put water. If you
yeah.
want to do big old ice rock, if you want to do the Sonic ice on top, whatever it is, however it is that you enjoy it, enjoy it. It's meant to be enjoyed. That's one of the things that Buffalo Trace, if you're uncomfortable, if you're a vodka, if you're a gin drinker, if you're a beer drinker and you want to get into whiskey and bourbon, Buffalo Trace is a great entry point.
Oh, most definitely.
It won't guide you wrong. It is a solid everyday. They have perfected it. They have found the way to do it, and they're not stopping. One of the great stories I have is a guy from MIT graduated in engineering, and he got hired by Jack Daniels to come head the brewing process, like be their guy on the ground. He goes, I thought I was gonna have to go in there and change all of this stuff. Like, I'm gonna really redo the way that they do. They're gonna really see a huge difference in the way that they brew. And he goes, and I got there, and they really early on, I realized they had they haven't changed this process in 150 years. They haven't changed one process
incredible.
of how they distill spirit. He goes, and I realized my job is not to screw it up.
That's
100% my job.
They've already invented the wheel.
Yeah, don't let this wheel get off the
that's
cart.
awesome.
Yeah. Same thing with Buffalo Trace. Phenomenal job. Go back up to the tasting notes, Andrew. So yeah, I got vanilla, I got honey, I got caramel, I got brown sugar, I got toffee. Oak was definitely there.
Yep.
Mint. Mint was one for me that I've never picked up on.
I've never picked up on mint either.
Orange, sometimes in the back of the throat whenever I'm like on the finish. But if you can get mint, hats off to you.
I don't get mint at all. Now I get the orange. I get the orange on the nose. And even going down, no, I'm lost on the mint.
Yeah, on down the orange, I can get in the back of the throat. I don't get the mint though. But if you can find the mint, that's what I've always been really impressed by. The people that can really look at it and go, I'm getting cardamom in here. This is delicious. I always feel like they're kind of lying to me to see if I'll fall for it.
See if you fall for it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, totally. Cardamom. It's delicious. Yeah, that's great.
Well, with Buffalo Trace, and they have a lot of other incredible products that they continue to keep doing. Blanton's is a popular one, which is very rare to find. Especially, it's not just this area, but all over.
Yeah.
Because nobody has the Blantons or the Weller products or the Eagle Rare. And they're all just great. But just like you said, the history, you don't change it. They continue with that same history for, almost 150, 200 years.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with that. That's
I
incredible.
was reading on their website that Buffalo Trace has each of their like tunes or their big cast holds over 10,000 gallons.
Incredible.
So they're making a lot of spirit for a lot of people. Feel free to go on the website, try it out. Junior, we'll have you on next week. Thanks again for joining us on the show.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You can go to Texas
Sweat Fitness.
So close.
Texas Sweat
Fitness. We'll have the website down right here. Check it out. And after you have a couple of glasses of these, then you can go hit the gym with this guy.
You might want to go work out first, and then go with this.
There you go. There you go.
We'll take that.
Thanks, guys, so much. Stick around next week. We have a phenomenal bottle of scotch to get into from Glenfiddich. And as always, don't forget to please drink responsibly.